Charlie Kirk once raised $2 million to defend a white kid who fatally shot 3 innocent individuals and labeled this white extremist as a patriot. He once famously said, "We need to make sure the left fear us. When they come for us, we need to come for them 10 times harder." He was a big believer in the Great Replacement theory, aka white people are being harmed and erased and they're being replaced by obedient people from third world countries. Look, I do colonizer-free astrology and currently my page is blowing up because I put out predictions previously saying celebrities were going to be unalived during this time. I also emphasize we are in the return of fascism, but most importantly, astrologically, we are in the downfall of colonialism. So one thing I always say to people is, when you reflect on all this craziness and chaos happening around us, I want you to think about it just a little bit deeper. What is being challenged? What is being dismantled? What is being disrupted? 9 times out of 10, it will point to the systems and structures that keep not just ourselves oppressed, but the rest of the world. So all this craziness that you see from our oppressors, all this violence they're trying to instoke, all it is they've lost power. So now they're trying very shit tactics to reclaim that power. But astrologically, the time for it to crumble has arrived. Look, you can go through my page. I've outlined very explicitly what the downfall of the American empire looks like on top of other global predictions that I have. But what I want to talk to you today is about divine rage. Because one thing you will find is colonizers and oppressors in all the different flavors and forms they come in will love to groom their victims to think their rage is invalid or it's unnecessary or it's cruel. But I want you to keep in mind, when they are rageful, when they are exploiting you, when they are harming you, they don't feel any type of way. What they are angry about is you are finally gathering the courage, the knowledge, the solidarity for your liberation, and they just can't have that. So you know the routine. Grab a cup of jar, get comfortable. Let me discuss with you why Jupiter transiting the 9 types of Gemini is telling you how to embrace divine rage. Let's go, Hibiscuses. So as you know, Vedic astrology is a religious practice, and I wanted to share 3 Dharmic faiths with you and their take on divine rage, because you're designed to have it. It's meant to protect you. So first, let's start with Sikhi, right? Divine rage is seen as a force of protection. It's an energy to fight against injustices. It's really about selfless action versus, I would say, trying to harm others. Then you have Sanatan Dharma. They see divine rage as a tool that's used to restore balance. It allows for renewal when essentially evil and we would say unjust behaviors and norms have really taken such a strong grip of our world, and most importantly our spirit. And thirdly, even Buddhism. Divine rage is necessary to cut through the illusions of the world. Long story short, when you look at different Dharmic faiths and all their different scriptures, there is a very intentional reason they emphasize divine rage. And I want you to think about why colonizers would not only culturally appropriate these religious practices and their understanding of the world, but why do you think these religions are love and light when actually when you study them, they're full of passion, rage, and they all document so heavily the importance of justice and knowing when to lock in. Wake up, Hibiscuses. Look, as I mentioned, Jupiter's currently going through the 9 types of Gemini. Now, Jupiter symbolizes the following. Number 1 is getting rid of evil. Number 2 is foreigners, our contact with people and places and beliefs that are different to our own. And most importantly, protection from difficult situations. Isn't it funny? The downfall of colonialism would begin under these transits. Now I want to explore the different types of Gemini, because as Jupiter goes through the Gemini nakshatras, I think in very personal and public ways, we are learning how our oppressors have weaponized our rage to ensure they could keep exploiting us and essentially suppress resistance. So firstly, I want to concentrate on Mrigasira. That's Gemini type 1 to 2, and it's really closely associated to storytelling. So it deals a lot with this idea of intellectually exploring things, a curiosity. It's ruled by Mars, so it definitely masters the conversation of art. And it also understands the stories that we share and we tell ourselves. hugely make or break our ability to fulfill our desires. And this really made me think about how different oppressors will create stories, propaganda, narratives to make victims of their oppression feel weird about their rage. So let's go with like their biggest propaganda, which is the idea of civilized rage versus like savage rage. Isn't it funny when oppressors display acts of violence, extremism, essentially all kinds of human rights violations 101? For some reason, their rage is seen as protection, freedom fighting. You know, it's displayed in generally quite a positive way. However, when victims of their rage try to fight against them, all of a sudden we're primitive, we're barbaric. Like, look at the difference in storytelling. It's intentional. The victims of oppression are put into this dichotomy where we're meant to feel like we are wrong or weird for wanting to fight back against something that, you know, subconsciously, consciously is harming us. They do that to kind of kill your instincts and your natural human emotions. Then I was thinking a lot about the stereotypes that they put onto the victims of oppression. So think about the tropes around angry black women, spicy Latinos. I am Punjabi. Hindu fascists will literally label Punjabis as fucking like primitive cowboys. But you'll never openly talk about, well, how you genocide us, how you exploit us, how you culturally appropriate us, how you're violent towards us. What it's trying to do is essentially paint them to be kind of these caricatures and not really, like, you know, like delegitimize the grievances that they're going through and the justifications of why they should be angry. I always find it so interesting how oppressors are allowed to show out their anger and they're seen as patriots and emotionally intelligent and, you know, they're connecting to the natural rage they should be feeling. But God forbid the victims of your violence show an ounce of pissed offness, then all of a sudden, what a threat to society. Are they a threat to society, or are they very likely going to be victorious in dismantling all your bullshit? And then I was thinking a lot about like the whole model minority story that, as victims of oppression, when you assimilate with the colonizer and oppressor, thank God you deserve it, you'll get treated nicely. But if you ever called out any of their bullshit, all the contradictions, all the nastiness in it, then all of a sudden, oh my God, you're too much. You should be more grateful. Like, give me a fucking break. This is also where I was thinking a lot about people who police other people's tone and languages and was like, Then I was thinking about Ardra. That's Gemini type 3 to 6, and itself encapsulates divine rage. So essentially, Rudra, who's the deity of this sign, when he's birthed howling, angry, crying, and he's upset because of the state of humanity in which he's been birthed into to clean up. So then I was thinking about how much oppressors will actually punish victims of oppression for showing their anger. So think about social punishment in terms of how quickly we label victims of oppression as disruptive, weird, angry, unprofessional, difficult. So you're intentionally trying to socially isolate them and damage their reputation so no one kind of gathers around them or even wants to hear what they're saying. Then obviously the economic punishment. Think about how many of you can't actually participate in activism because you're worried about the ramification it would have on your livelihood, connecting to opportunities, not being seen as a team player or understanding. What the fuck do you have to be understanding about when it comes to the harming of other people? Get a fucking grip. Also, the very legal and violent punishment. So the fear of police will be weaponized against them. You might be hauled into a courtroom for speaking the truth. Colonizers love law enforcement to enforce their fucking oppression. 101. And also, just like gaslighting, the fact that you will be so quick to say you're being too reactive is not that deep. Fuck off. Was it not that deep when they were genociding, calling for the blood of others? Was it not that deep when they normalized people being like unalived? Like, oh my God. Then I was thinking about Punavasu, which is Gemini type 7 to 9, and it's all about renewal and kind of teaching and education. Let's face it, colonizers pour billions of dollars into training us in how we should receive their oppression. Don't you find it weird that we subconsciously know we're rewarded for being passive or indifferent? People who don't create a fuss or basically are compliant or complicit or not making too much of a reaction to the clear human rights violation, you're safe in society. You get a job opportunity and promotion. Like, be so fucking embarrassed you sell out. They control religion, education, all of that to make us feel like their version of history is the most legitimate. So therefore, we're weird for like remembering or challenging their perspectives. Oh, these fuckers love promoting also respectability politics. Like, imagine, as victims of violence, we're only taken seriously if we react to how our bully can feel at peace and comfortable with the conversation. I'm sorry, were we comfortable when you are battering the shit out of us? Oh, and how they co-opt most of the leaders of our movements. Like, your movement can only start if the colonizer likes that face and is comfortable with that face. If you're not angry, you're colonized.